Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing this afternoon, beautiful soul? Hello and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. This is the Angel Lady Terry Marie, and today we are going to be talking about letting go, the 5 aspects of letting go, which are, I've got my notes here: decision, taking action, grief, freedom, and celebration. So imagine something that you want to let go of, a fear, let's say. Tax season here in the US is coming up pretty soon, and it may be too soon for some people. And yet others may be a little bit concerned if they're going to get a refund, or perhaps if you're in business, if you have enough to pay the tax or taxes. Let's see, what else? Well, whatever a fear is, whatever fear, or perhaps it's forgiveness, a lack of confidence, or not wanting to step out and really show yourself because somebody might not like you, or maybe they'll say something nasty. You know, humans are humans, and they're going to say things whether you like it or not, whether you know about it or not. Feelings are going to be hurt. Fears are going to rise to the surface as there are new opportunities to say yes to consider, to say no to, whatever that is all about. So letting go, that's a good idea. Here's some positive things to even let go of. And what do we mean by that? Well, let's say, so today is the 18th of January, 2017, and you have set some intentions and goals for yourself. And maybe you're wondering or not sure because you've set intentions in the past and they haven't happened, or they've only been half-baked, or they failed miserably. So setting intentions and goals, financial goals, client goals, list goals, career, relationships, whatever it is, if you've set intentions and goals in the past and you haven't made them, then it's all about letting go of the outcome. So first we're going to be talking about, I'm just checking in with my own guys to see exactly where we're going with this, because there are 2 ways. That's true. No matter what you're focusing on to let go of, to release, the process is the same. First, you make a decision that you're going to let go of hurt, heartbreak, anger, that feeling of betrayal, or let go of the outcome, exactly how your goals are going to manifest. So how are you going to allow you to let go? First is a decision. I'm ready to let go. It's as simple and maybe as complicated as that. Everything begins with a decision. And maybe you might need to sit with or to process the idea, the decision, the thoughts, and the emotions of letting go. Whatever it is, whether it's a positive thing you're letting go of, like your goals and intentions, say this year you want to break into 6 figures, or you want to get a significant pay raise, you want to find the right and perfect match for your love life. Maybe it's about letting go of past hurt and pain and just letting you go through forgiveness. So the first decision, the first aspect or level is the decision. The next is taking action. And this may sound like you have to really do something, and in a way you do, and in other ways it's more about how you let go. How do you let go? Here's how I do it. I'll be in my meditation garden and I'll be sitting there journaling. That's one way to let things go on a daily basis. And letting go isn't always about the really big things. It's also about the smaller, or what we would consider smaller or insignificant things. For example, one of the ways I let go and create space in my mind every day is to journal what happened yesterday. Now, sometimes it's a couple pages and sometimes it's a paragraph or two, depending upon how much I'm really feeling to write, because sometimes you don't need a lot of words. So yesterday or this morning, I wrote about what happened yesterday, the good things, and I don't think there was anything negative that came about. So yesterday was totally about the positive things. I was at my favorite coffee shop, and some of my coffee shop buddies, as I call them, came by and said hello, and we laughed and we chatted for a little bit, and I got some work done. So I wrote about that. I chatted with so and so and this and that, and about a friend of mine who was a barista and is now hired by a law firm here in El Paso, Texas. And he's really excited because he's graduating with his paralegal degree in May. What does that have to do with anything? I wrote about that a little bit in my journal. I was clearing out yesterday and writing down some things that I was wanting to let go of, have chosen to let go of, and the things I wanted to do today. One of them was, or is, this training. I made a promise to y'all last week that we would have these trainings once a week. So this is one of the ways that I am showing up and honoring my word and being of service to you. So the decision, and then you take action. How do you do that in addition to journaling or differently? You can sit and meditate and just be in the silence and be in the stillness. And other times, if the fear or the thing or the thoughts and emotions that you want to let go of are significant enough, meaning there's a lot of charge, there's a lot of energy, both positive and negative, maybe mixed up with a little bit of apprehension in there, who knows? The bigger the emotion, the bigger the energy, the bigger the attachment, positive or negative, that's when I'll write a letter. Depending upon what it is, I'll write the letter to myself, I'll write it to the angels, maybe I write it to both, and I literally write a letter about what I'm feeling, what I'm letting go of, in as much detail as I feel is necessary. The bigger the charge, the more I'm writing. And so I write it out, and when I'm finished with the letter, I burn it. Now, if you're in a place where you're not able to burn, then you can tear the letter up with the pieces or the ashes. You put them in the garden or the rubbish bin. Do not recycle this, because if you put the paper pages, the pieces or the ashes in the recycle bin, you're going to recycle energy. Don't do that. Then you just get to do it again. And depending upon the size or the charge of the energy, how big it feels, you may want to write a second letter in a day or two, or maybe later that day. If it's bugging you significantly, I mean, like where you can't really go to sleep at night, then do it at night before you go to bed. Sometimes I'll allow the feelings to process as I work with the angels and thank them for the day, and cutting cords and healing and forgiveness, transformation, unconditional love, and balancing my chakras. And that's part of my nightly ritual, unless I'm like really too tired and I fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. But these are actions. So the letter is not something that you're ever going to give someone, because this is clearing out the energy. And even if what you're doing your best to let go of in the action piece of this is because someone hurt you or betrayed you or did not honor their commitment or something, this is how you get to clear it out and clear yourself out so that you keep your own chakras and your own energy clear. Because the more you swallow, the more you stuff, ignore, pretend, striking somebody's chord, I'm feeling it in my heart center. The more you hold on to any kind of messy feelings, fear about the goals you set because maybe it's not going to happen this time either. And that's the kind of language you want to stop saying anyway, but that's a whole nother segment. So we've talked about decision and taking action. Depending upon what you're letting go of, there may be grief. And for example, there was something that I recently let go of that really, it was a decision a long time in coming. And I'll give you a specific example. For a year, I offered and showed up every month, every first Saturday of each month for an angel gathering here in my home and recording it and broadcasting it, making the recording available for a year through a Facebook group. And maybe we haven't met each other before or really connected in a lot of ways. At the end of July was a major shift for me, major transformation. So much so that my body underwent a gallbladder surgery, an emergency one, which removed the gallbladder, yes, but also the gallbladder collects negativity and things that you've healed and let go of, and it forms gallstones. So it was like, okay, major transformation, major cleansing. And since then, I think starting about 2 months after that, I was really questioning whether or not to continue the angel gatherings. It was part of my dream, and before I even started them, a close friend of mine had been doing them for several years and then had not for several years. And I talked with her about it, and even then it was 6 months before I actually had the courage to start them, because channeling in front of people, meditations and those kinds of things, that was the first time I'd ever done that. Channeling while recording myself or trying to, I've done that before. But anyway, this speaks to the grief aspect. And when it became clear to me that it was time to let go, it really saddened me. And there was a grief period of letting this go, because they're powerful, they're healing, they're enlightening, and they helped to bring some people together. But after 11 months, nearly a year, when there's little to no interest, that's a sign. So pay attention to the signs. So sometimes it's a relationship you need to let go of, and there's a grief period. Maybe it's a job or a client or part of your business that's not working or never really did or isn't working anymore. There's a grief process. And depending upon what it is, it will take a couple hours, a couple days, maybe a couple of weeks. Now, this isn't permission to sit on your couch or in a corner and just, get into your shell. But there is a grief process, and that's part of the letting go. So first we talked about decision, making a decision to let go, taking action, journaling, meditating, taking a salt bath, incense, writing a letter and burning it, and then the grief for the space that's being created, for the decisions are right, even though you'd really rather continue and you're being guided and getting messages to do something different. Okay, so the next one, there's a sense of freedom. And sometimes there, even in that grief part, in that grief aspect, there may be a sense of freedom, because even though I was grieving the letting go of the angel gatherings and no longer doing them, I did feel a sense of freedom from that monthly commitment. And it wasn't because I didn't want to do it, but there is a freedom. So that opens me up to do other things. And it's not just the time slot because it was in the evening on a Saturday once a month. It's not a huge time commitment in that sense. The other parts, the energy, whatever else went into it beforehand, all of those parts and pieces I was now free of. So then you get to celebrate. Celebrate the opening of the space, creating space for new opportunities, attracting more of what you want, and celebrating that you've listened and followed guidance and made the decision, and you went through all the actions and you went through all the aspects and the levels, and now you're free. You're free of parts that aren't working and maybe never did, or they stopped working. Now you have the freedom to go into a new direction. Now you have the freedom to expand in other areas. Maybe it's just for yourself. Maybe it's for friendships. Maybe it's for your business and clients. And that's pretty much what letting go is all about. So let's see. 5 aspects: decision, taking action, grief, freedom, and celebration. Would love to hear from you in the comments how you enjoyed this training and what is it that you're working on letting go of. If you'd rather message me about that, that's fine. Let me know. You might, if we're not Facebook friends yet, you might want to let me know that you've sent me a message. So because especially since now that Facebook has changed their messenger platform again. Anyway, so letting go. That's another thing I get to let go of. Yesterday I was writing to someone, and a friend of mine, a fellow reader, we're thinking about starting a Facebook group in such a way to support other spiritual entrepreneurs. And an idea for the name of the group came in, and as I was trying to get used to the new Facebook algorithm or the way they have it set up, the name just went right out of my head. Hopefully it'll come back. If it doesn't, then something else will come. But that's something else to let go of when Facebook or other platforms just change and you go in there and you go, okay, now what? So you get to take a moment and to stop and to breathe and say, okay, because sometimes letting go can be just like that, in the moment. Letting go. How do you let go? What are you letting go of? And what are you allowing into your life? Excuse me. Whoa, something came up in someone's throat chakra. Isn't it marvelous to be an empath? All right, beautiful soul. Until next time, love to hear from you. Bye-bye for now.